please.
Okay. So according to CDC, as of October 20th, revealed that the total number of monkeypox cases in the United States is at least 27,835. The country has by far the most infections in the world, followed by Brazil, Spain, France, and United Kingdom and Germany. Worldwide infections have topped 73,000 so far. So the monkeypox is still around. It has not gone anywhere. And US is still leading in numbers, followed by other countries. So I think that's the most health news out there, the most recent.
All right. So monkeypox is not completely gone. It's still out there, but it's gone down.
It's going
Basically,
down,
right?
yes.
And then also the United States, we still lead in total number of cases of the monkeypox. And I see that we lost sound a little bit, but we are back up. And thank you again, Rosina, for letting us know. I realized it as soon as you sent it. So, all right. So that is for monkeypox news out there. The other thing is the flu shot. Last week we talked about the flu. The flu is still something out there that's going to be a danger to a lot of people. So if you haven't gotten the flu shot yet, it's time for you to definitely make it a point to get the shot, because the CDC again is predicting a bad flu season, and that is because, as we outlined last week, a lot of we don't have the protection we used to have because of wearing masks over a long period, and now when the flu hits you, it's going to hit you a little harder than it used to be. So if you haven't gotten the flu shot, especially if you are in the temperate, colder regions, it is time for you to do that as soon as possible before it gets even colder. All right, so those are the news items that are trending in terms of health. We don't have anything trending in terms of life or general life issues for you right now, but in the future, we also bring other things that may be coming up as far as life issues are concerned. All right, so we proceed with our outline, and the last show review, as I was alluding to earlier, last week we started a new series on generational stopping, or how to stop generational poverty and disease, how to stop generational poverty and disease. And as you can tell, it is something that is huge. We're talking about nations, continents that are filled with generational poverty. But we want to bring it down to your own little world, in your own family, in your own little community where you are. How do we eradicate poverty? We know a lot of poverty eradication programs out there through the World Bank and the IMF and the rest, but nothing has changed in terms of continents. But individually, what can we do to stop generational poverty and disease? And that is what we want to talk about as a series. Last week, we talked about the definitions, the basic ideas on what generational poverty is, and that is what we are going to continue to do today. So today, we just want to as a review, talk about what it is. What is generational poverty? We said generation, when we use the word generation in this show, we also mean transgenerational. So something that is transferred from one generation to the other. That is what generation is. We also said that poverty is the state of being extremely poor. The state of being extremely poor. So you could be poor, but once it becomes extreme, then that is when we call you are in a state of poverty. So if you are poor for a little bit, maybe a few days, you are not in real poverty. But once we label you as somebody in abject poverty, then what we are saying is that you are extremely poor. And we also defined something very important, which is how to determine whether or not you are in poverty. We talked about a poverty line, like every country, every locale, every town. For the most part, it's more common in terms of the state or the country. We have a poverty line, which is a line above which you are not considered poor. So if you are below that line, then you are under poverty. If you are below the poverty line, then you are poor. But if you are above, you may be a little poor, but not extreme. That is where that is where the difference comes in. All right. So we said that that is what it is: poverty and extreme poverty. All right. So that is that. And we also said that we gave some numbers for where we are, but for the because of time, we're not going to go back to that. We also said that generational poverty then is the poverty that is transferred from one generation to the other. And we also said something about what diseases. And then we said that disease literally is a disorder which produces symptoms or signs and symptoms. So if you have a disorder uh, physically and it produces symptoms that are known either by you or by other people, then you are in a disease. And once the disease is transferred from one family or one generation to the other, then it becomes a generational disease. So those were the major definitions that we have. As a matter of fact, I also said that some diseases are not just physical diseases, they are diseases of character, because disorder can be any form of disorder. But you can have a disease of character, a disease of marriage, a disease. Any disease is a disease is something that is not in the right place, a disorder. But we are going to focus on this series on a disorder of your body. So that is what disease are. So that is, in short, what you missed last week when you were not here. And I hope that we're going to build on it today, this week. So today, we are going to episode 2. On episode 1, we talked about the definitions and what they are. We promised that we're going to continue with episode 2, where we delve deeper. I think we missed one slide. So we are talking, as we said, how to stop generational poverty and disease. And we are going to go through the series of topics that you can see in all the episodes that we have outlined. We may add more episodes. In fact, when we were preparing for this episode, I almost increased the episodes because that some could go into other episodes. So the episode 1 is what we have already done, the definitions. And episode 2, which is today, we're going to talk about sources or causes of generational poverty and disease. So as much as we may be tempted to talk about what is actually used to overcome those problems, we are going to try and stick to what causes them. And then in other shows, episode 3, we will talk about how to stop them. And we have a guest that is also going to be on. And we're also going to talk about how to equip the new generation. We're also going to talk about generational curses and all that. But today, we are doing what is the sources or causes of generational poverty and disease. All right, honey, I've been doing a lot of the talking. So what do you want to say now? We're going to introduce today's topic.
Sources, causes of generational poverty and disease. So what are the source of one state, like a family? We can think of a country. What are the sources or the causes that will make somebody live in that poverty or the state of being poor or having diseases? So what are the sources and what are the causes?
All right, so let's move forward on the slide. All right. So the first one.
The first one talk about location.
Your location.
Where you lived or where you were born, where you are born. So the place that you live, can that be a reason of being poor or being like in a position to acquire diseases? Location.
And I think it can. I know you know the answer, but you want me to chip in this way. Yeah, so where you are born definitely can contribute to whether or not you live in poverty, generational poverty. Because if you are born in a place where poverty is the norm, then obviously you may be born into poverty. So you probably wouldn't even know anything about poverty. You probably won't even have any taste of wealth or anything like that. All you know is poverty, right? So where you are born definitely can lead you into generational poverty. It will not be a thing of your choosing. You didn't choose to be born there. It wasn't your fault. It probably wouldn't even be the fault of your parents because they were probably also born into abject poverty. So your location. I know my brother is watching. Jerry is a real estate guru, and he will tell you that in real estate is location, location, location. And at this point, we can borrow that term that in economics, it's location, location, location. If you are born into an abject place of a place of abject poverty, then your chances of being poor are almost guaranteed. Almost guaranteed, right?
Yep. And prevailing diseases. Some diseases are such that as long as you are born in that location, there is no way you can do without it. Like if you are born in the tropics, it's likely that malaria will be part of you. You will get malaria here and there because of the location that you were born at. And if you are in the northern hemisphere, it's likely that flu and some diseases will be part of you because of the location that you are. So location, location, location.
Location, right? And then, as a matter of fact, even diseases like pneumonia too, very common in this place. I know it happens in the tropics too, but more common here too, in the colder temperatures because of where we are. So in diseases, your location also counts. Definitely. All right, and then location would also make you live your life in one way or the other. So since we are in America, we can use the American slogan. We have something here we call the American dream, right? That's marrying, having the babies, buying your own house, maybe buying a boat on top, living in a rich neighborhood. Those form your dream that every American wants to buy a house, at least and live comfortably well. And so everybody aspires to be that way. So that becomes something that the location where you live causes you to desire for, because everybody wants that. But if you are in a place where nothing like that is there, you don't have any societal demands on you to achieve anything such as that, you probably wouldn't even think about buy a house. You kidding me? I just have to rent, and that's all I need. So your location will actually inform your dreams as far as being either poor or sick is concerned.
Yeah, so the American dream, they call it pursuit of happiness, right? They want to pursue, everybody want to achieve that. Get a beautiful wife, get a house, drive the most recent, latest car, get a vacation home somewhere. So there's certain standard that people put it out there, especially in this area, that everybody's pursuing, trying to reach that, get to that point. But if you are in the poor localities, you don't even have an idea what happiness or pursuit of happiness is. What dream is out there for you because of the place that you were born, you've been born into. So you don't have that idea. Poverty is normal. Everybody walk around. There is no way of you even dreaming of getting a car. And if somebody show up with a car, it's kind of a big deal, because like it's not something common because of where you are from, and everybody rents. There is no way that everybody can get a house or buy a house. There is no way that you dream of going on vacation or buying a vacation home. It's not out there because of the place that you are born into.
All right. So, as a matter of fact, since you brought that up, with that pursuit of happiness, actually enshrined in some of the documents that I don't remember whether it was I forgot
One
that
of the
particular.
leaders.
Well, yeah, one of the leaders. It's actually it's the pursuit of happiness is one of the things that the founding fathers actually put in the founding documents. So it is not just anything. They want the people here to pursue happiness, and that is one of the reasons why they, the British, some of the British here left the kingdom of the UK and came to establish here. They were running away to become free and to establish a place where they can pursue their own happiness without restrictions by anything. So it has become part of the culture here that everybody wants to be happy, wants to be free. And it is all because they are born here. So when you are born here, you are and introduced to it, and then you begin to seek for greener pastures, things that are better for you and make you better. But bringing that also in diseases, I also saw that even in the 80s, where you are born also counts. Where HIV and AIDS was very rampant, it depended on where you live. If you are in a place where the outbreak of HIV wasn't much, then you were definitely not going to even see the disease. But if you were in a place where HIV was, then you were exposed to it. So where you are also exposes you to certain diseases as much as it exposes you to certain economics.
Okay. And speaking of diseases, we can also talk about bad tap water in Michigan that happened not long ago. That in the poor neighborhood, they realized that people are drinking bad water full of lead poison
Rust.
and rust. So because of their location, they tend to have certain peculiar
Problems,
diseases because of where they are or where they live. So that can also be a problem.
Definitely, definitely. So where you are born or where you live, if we should say, play a huge role in terms of your economics and your disease state. And also, talking about diseases, there's a generation of people called the baby boomers who were here, who are in the United States. A lot of them got hepatitis C. Hepatitis C is a viral disease that affects the liver. And most people who have it in the United States are the baby boomers. It affected that generation. I don't know whether it was the use of, non-steroid needles at that time, whether it was the use of drugs at that time, whatever it is. That peculiar generation called the baby boomers are more prone to having hepatitis C, which affect liver and sometimes leads to liver cancer and the rest. So where you were born can bring a generation of diseases onto you. So that generation called baby boomers are known. If you go in a medical circle, everybody knows that they are the ones that have the most in terms of Hep C. So that is one too. And you want to talk about where you are born also?
Yeah. So if you are from a place that the health system is not that great, the way that you are able to manage diseases may be different. So because there is no continuation of care, like last time we were talking about, there are certain things that is not really looked into, or the people are not so much educated in that disease state. So because of that, they are not able to manage their disease state as well because of where they are born, where they are located. So there are certain diseases that will be passed on to the next generation because they will feel like, oh, my mom had it, so it's likely that I'm going to get it. But if you are from a different location where you understand the state of the disease, how it started and how to prevent it, it's likely that you are going to stop the generational transfer. So it's very important on where you are. If the health system is good, one way or the other, it affects the generational disease state.
That's a good point. All right. So the other thing is that we were talking about where you were born, and people may say that. So are you trying to say that if you're born in America, you guys don't have any problems? No, that's not what we're saying. So even with the video that is shown right now, you can see a poor man who is homeless, who is begging for alms in the street, in the middle of, I think, if this is not New York City, it may be somewhere in the US or somewhere, because I see a company with a staple sign there, which is a common company here,
California.
So it could be California. So it definitely doesn't mean that if you are born in a rich country, you are off the hook. No. Even in the rich countries, we have poor neighborhoods. If you are born in a poor neighborhood, especially in the US here, the system is designed so much that if you are born in a poor neighborhood, you're going to go to poorly resourced schools. Your schools are going to be bad. And then because your schools are going to be bad, most likely you won't go to college, you will drop out. So the cycle continues. So you may live in the US, all right, but if you live in a poor neighborhood, trust me, this generational poverty is chasing you. So I'm not here to say that if you're born in the West, born in the UK, born in the US, or you live in the UK, you live in an affluent society, it means you are escaping this location problem. No, it depends on your particular micro location. So where you live, as a matter of fact, where you live by yourself. In the same way, if you are born in a place where poverty is rampant, like in an African place, or in an Indian place, or in a third world country where kids don't have access to educational materials, food, and the like. It doesn't mean that because you are born there, you can make it. What it means, though, is that more people who are born there are subjected to more problems, and it's difficult to come out of generational poverty that way. That being said, there could be people who still make it out of those places, right?
Yep. So that we are talking about the education system, right? So if the education system is not that great, it's likely that you are going to fall under this generational poverty because your education is not going to be high enough because of where you are located. And vocational, so if you go to school, all that you do is you just have to memorize everything that you were told,
Chew, pour, and pass.
chew, pour, pass, and forget. It's likely that the on hand work is going to be lost.
The skills, yeah.
The skill is going to be lost. But if you are in a place where the education is linked to the vocation, it's such that if you are in school, you still do on hand work. The skill you learn. So as you are in school, it's linked to the actual job out there. You just learn and you come out better off than somebody who was born in another location that you just memorize textbooks and you forget about it. Sometimes you don't even understand, but you just have to memorize and pour it out and
pass
you
your
come
exams,
out
right?
and that will be it.
Yeah, and that is one unique thing about Western education that we have experienced here. You have hands-on education academic work as well as vocational training alongside. So people who don't want to go through the usual or formal curriculum of go to college, and all that, they branch off after high school into vocational institutes. So we have schools that train masons, schools that train carpenters. But in other places, if you are going to be a mason, it means that you didn't get money to go to college, or you didn't get enough grades to do, to move forward. That is why you are coming there. So there's no educational facilities to help such people who can move forward, in the formal sector. And not everybody likes the academic work all the time. So if you are born in a place, like she said, where all you get is academic training, class one or grade one to university, it's just book work. The only time that you touch any practical work is after school, when perhaps you get a job. That doesn't make for a good generational wealth. It brings generational poverty because people who can make it through that way fall by the wayside and become poor.
Not everybody is college material.
You got it.
Right. Not everybody is. So there should be other sectors
Yep.
that will take such people and train them. They all have skill one way or the other. Yes.
Definitely. So I think we've exhausted the location part, but if you want to go more on location, trust me, we'll continue to going. So what we will say that if you are watching us, make sure you jot down your points and share them with us as we move forward, so that we can share with other people who are watching. Your comments and your questions are very important to us, so bring them up. We know some of you are definitely enjoying it, so please bring your comments. We'll read some of them as we move forward. All right, so the next one, so we have done only one, which is the location, as far as episode 2, sources and causes of generational wealth. Location is just one now, and what time is it? We are about 30 minutes into the time, so we may have to cut it off at some point. But let's move to the next one. The next one is your beliefs and your values, the beliefs and value systems. Did you want to start off, or you want me to?
Yeah, so like some cultures have some unique beliefs that is causing a little problem in this generational poverty we are talking about. That they have this idea that wealthy people are cheats or are thieves. So if you are coming from such culture that, if you become wealthy, or if you are you are well off, it's likely that you stole the money, somewhere.
You probably are a politician, right?
Yeah, so that's a huge factor, that if you have that belief, or if you've been brought up that way of thinking, that if you are rich, there is no way that you fear God, or you won't regard anybody, or you are a thief or you're a cheat, then that is a very huge problem for having such a belief. And that may cause you to remain under the poverty line or be poor and pass on that poverty
to your next generation.
The next generation. Yeah.
So with that being said, let's read a scripture here because I find the problem. Some people are even uncomfortable talking about wealth. Christians and religious people who they do not even want to mention wealth. And if you're a preacher and you talk about wealth, they think that you are carnal. And this is because of one of the scriptures they quote here is here. The rich cannot be saved. Because in Matthew chapter number 19, verse 23 to 26, incidentally, that is where I also saw Jesus saying that with God, all things are possible. So possibilities with making money and going to heaven. That is where the statement was made. So it says in the verse 23, then Jesus said to his disciples, assuredly I say to you that it is hard for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. And again, I say to you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. When his disciples heard it, they were greatly astonished. I think I would be too, right? Because everybody wants to make money. So what they said was, who then can be saved? Who then can be saved? So the object, let's finish and we'll come back to it. And verse 26 is that, but Jesus looked at them and said to them, with men, this is impossible. But with God, all things are possible. So the conclusion of that statement in verse 26 is actually telling us that God or Jesus is trying to say that it is possible for people to be rich and go to heaven, right? That's why he says that when the disciples say, who then can be saved? He said, Jesus looked to them and said, with men, this is impossible. With men, that is with men. It is impossible, but with God, all things are possible. With men, it is impossible to make money or to be rich and go to heaven, but with God, all things are possible. And you want to throw in something? I'll come in again.
If we go back to 24, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle. With men, it is impossible, but with God, it's possible, right? Than a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. So it's hard for a camel to go through the eye of a needle. For a rich man, it's easier. So that's why the disciples were very astonished. Because how can a camel go through the eye of a needle? There is no way that is possible.
There's no way, right? So
but we are not talking in terms of men. That one is impossible with men. But with God, it is possible.
You see,
it is possible.
That is where I was going to. I didn't share this with you earlier, but when you hit it, it made me just do that. My applause for that. Just means that we are thinking alike, All right. So with God, that's the whole premise of the statement there. So those of you who think that because you are a believer, because you are religious, you don't have to make money, cut it right now. If you are doing it for yourself, if it is you, your own selfish ambition, you just make the money and show off. That's all that it takes. That's all that the riches you want to get, it's about. Then it is not with God. Because with God, that's not how it is. So if it's with God, then you're going to make money, and it's possible for you to also make money and be a heaven-bound somebody. So that is the key. And that's why I like it when you hear it. It's with God, not with men. If you are making money, or if you are aspiring to be rich, aspiring to break off the poverty situation that you find yourself in, and you feel like, if you make money, you're going to be judged, you're not going to make it. If once money comes in your hand, you're going to like girls, That is because it is not with God. If you stick with God, if you stick with your principles, with what you have learned to be the right things, then you can make $1 billion and still make it. And there's a few people who do that. That's why he said that it is easier for a camel to do that. Because most people who have broken out the chains of poverty, most rich people or wealthy people who have overcome the generational poverty we are talking about, generational diseases that we are talking about, they don't really glorify God with that. They actually leave the faith because they have no moral ground, nothing to. It's not with God. In short, it is not with God. It is just with them and their own selfish ambitions.
So maybe in our culture, we are seeing the wealthy, the rich people being selfish, self seeking, evil, ungodly, like you were saying. With that, and you being brought up as a Christian, you see all this, then you're like, oh, I don't want to be like them. I don't want to be wealthy to do stuff like that. I want to depend on God for everything. So if you have quote unquote that belief, you tend to relax or you tend not to seek for wealth because in your mind you are thinking that it's likely that you are going to forget God, right? You're going to be ungodly. You're going to seek, you'll be self-seeking. It's all about you and stuff like that. But if we think of it in a different way, that with God, because it's with God, we are not going to be self-seeking. We are going to look out for other people. We are still going to be godly because it's God that made us rich. We are still going to seek Him. You know, if we change our mentality or the culture that has been placed on us, the beliefs that is not in line with the word, because some people will just pick the first part, right? The verse 23 and the 24, and said that there is no way that a rich person can go to heaven. So I'm not going to be rich because I want to make it to heaven. But Jesus continued by saying that it is impossible with men, but with God it is possible.
With God, it is possible.
So we can change our beliefs and the things that we look out for and just break this generational poverty and diseases and move on.
I just want to give you an applause, baby. That was profound. That was profound. Yeah. So with God, the key is that if you have that value system that tells you, we're talking about values and systems, right? If you have that value system, that makes you feel like you will not be a good person if you are rich, and so you don't seek to break off from poverty. We have shown to you that yes, you can be rich and be a good person. In fact, I've known some rich people who did really good,
Yes.
and so there's that value again, the mentality, the mindset. If I'm rich, it means that I'm a womanizer. If I'm rich, it means that I'm gonna not go to church. If I'm rich, it means that I probably stole. No, you can be rich and not steal, except if you are some bad politician in some place that I know. All right. But I hope they are all going to change. They are all going to change. They are not going to continue to be bad people. All right. So now let's move on. The other reason, we just want to make sure that we get this into everybody's head that is watching, that if you're a Christian, if you're a believer, you have to make sure that you love to be doing well. Because honey, I don't know about you, but if I see a believer who aspires to be poor, it pains me because our God owns everything on the earth. And if you show off poverty, it smells rotten, because that's not God. God is God. If you look at how God instructed, Solomon to build the temple, the amount of gold that he told them to use, bronze, expensive stuff. He's an expensive God, But if you don't know how to use riches, then of course you better stay poor, because you can be a very wicked person. Some of you know how some rich people have really been bad. Use their money to support war, buying ammunitions for people who are causing war in other countries. Those are bad people. But that's not what we are saying. We're talking about doing good, having money, and using it for good things. So if we read this scripture in 1 Timothy 6:10, it is that for the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. This is where people get it wrong. So if you love money, love wealth more than God, more than doing good, then riches or wealth becomes a problem for you. Then you should stay away from being rich or from breaking off your generation. Stay in your generational poverty and curse, please. If you love money more than people, money should not be an object of worship. Money should be a tool in your hand to bless people, to help people. How cool it would be if you have enough money such that you build free schools and giving people scholarships for free who cannot go to school. Oh man, some of these kids that we saw on the video who are living in huts. If your money can, one day I was talking to myself, these celebrities that we have here in the US, if one or two even agree, they can change the plight of thousands or millions of kids in places where there's no drinking water. But of course, that's not what they are looking up to do. So I challenge you, if you watch this channel and you ever get rich, I'm showing you how to use your money. Don't worship the money. Don't let the money be the object of worship. In that case, you are loving money. And then if you love money, you will kill people to get money. And some people are doing that. They don't care what they do. They don't care who they kill. They don't care who they walk over or destroy because they love money so much. Money is a tool. It's not a God. All right.
So, like, I can chip in here that if we have money, a lot of prayers will be answered easily. Because if we love God and we've made a lot of money, there is no way that somebody will be crying for like a breakthrough just to get money to pay for school fees. Nowadays, it has minimized a little bit, right? But some people are very, like in the impoverished area, they are so poor. And all that they are going to church to pray is just for what? Clean water or the sickness that they can buy medicine, you know. So like we have to aspire, we have to take delight in breaking off
generational poverty.
Generational poverty. We have to desire that.
You know, one problem that I've been praying on that would be solved with money.
What?
Paying off my student loans. I paid that prayer for a long time and I'm still paying. If I had that money, that prayer would have been answered. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't have money, don't say that money make you. No. You don't know what to do with money. That is why you don't want to aspire. So if you have that culture and belief system that makes money evil, then obviously money will run far away from you.
Yes.
Because you don't know what to use money for. So value systems of a place can keep people in abject poverty. And some people are so scared that even if they get money, they don't want people to know, because what if they get money and some witches and wizards see it?
Wow.
They are going to kill them, you know. So if they get money, nobody should know because they are scared. Money has become a terrible thing for a lot of people. Of course, it's not nice to show off and, you know, just abuse people's life because of your money. But if you have money, thank God, use it for good, you know. And if you have that thought that, oh, if I get money, you know, what I can do, what I would do, then when the opportunity comes, you'll be blessed. You get the money. But if you don't yearn for that and you curse money, then your generational poverty will continue. And some people are living.
Yeah, and some people also have this belief that as long as I can get enough, you know, to feed my family, to provide for my family, and make myself comfortable, it should be good enough. So we don't aspire to make enough money to even pass on to the next generation. Because in our mind, our mentality is such that we just need just enough to be okay. You know, so I'll go to school, I'll do 9 to 5, I'll pay off my student loan, I'll get my house, I'll do this, do that. So it's minimal that we have this generational wealth, not poverty, but wealth, that you are going to make enough and hand it over to the next generation. That even I think the Bible says that a wise man leave out wealth, an inheritance
for his children's children.
So we don't have to have this belief that we just want to survive. We just want to be okay. What about making more for the next generation to enjoy generational wealth instead of poverty?
Wow. I'm telling you, we are hitting some nerves right here. And I've seen a comment right here. Unfortunately, it doesn't give me your name. It is saying enjoying the show. And we thank you for letting us know that we are encouraged to see that. And thank you. So if you are enjoying the show, yes, show us the thumbs up, click the like button, and tell us something you are enjoying. Also, if you have a question or if you have a counter argument, bring it out. We are not experts. As I always tell you, we are just conversational people. We want to just share our ideas. And so if you have an idea that will benefit other people, if it's a good one, trust me, I will put it on there and people will see it, you know. All right, so let's keep going. And at this point, I think we are still on the belief system. No, we are moving to the third cause or source of generational poverty and disease. The third one is what? Welfare and culture or welfare culture and attitude. And I need you like this one, so I'll let you start. Welfare culture and attitude.
Welfare culture.
Do you want me to start?
Yes, sir.
All right. So welfare. What we have seen is that some people, by virtue of where they live, or we've talked about where they live, by virtue of what the economy does for them through the governments and stuff, they don't want to break through and do anything. Now, some people are, as long as they get enough money and then the government will add something to it, that's it. They will not make more money so that they will lose their welfare. And if you live that way, trust me, you are never going to be rich. You are going to continue the cycle of poverty. It's going to continue. Your children are going to also be on welfare. So welfare is good, all right, but it shouldn't be something that becomes a line that you don't want to. I don't want to make more than 20,000, because as soon as I make more than 20,000, then I will not get any handout from the state or from the federal government. So I'll work just a little bit, just so that I make enough and also collect some from the government. If you are doing that, you are increasing generational poverty. You are going to pass that same mentality on to your children and to their children. And you are going to be blamed by your grandparents or your children, because you didn't teach them that there's some life which is better out there. So generational poverty can happen when people dwell on a welfare culture. Now, I have a caveat. That's not all I'm saying. Welfare is good. And I think I stated somewhere that welfare should be a cushion, where you have a cushion. So, for instance, you're in college, your mom and dad can't give you anything, and you just want to get some help. You need some support system to carry you through your school. If at that point you need some handout from the state or the government helping you, right now in the US, people are going to be helped if they had a lot of student loan and they are not making enough money to even pay off their student loan. So government is helping a little bit. $20,000 off your student loan is not going to be all that it is that you need. But at least when you take that, it will spring you up. So it's a cushion to help you come up or come out of poverty, out of generational poverty. But then some people take that and they're like, okay, if I can get that cushion, as long as I remain in this income bracket, as long as I just make this amount of money, then I might as well just make just that money so that I can always get the welfare assistance. That is what makes generational poverty go on. I'll come in again, but I want Gifty to share something also.
Yes. So when you were talking about parents trying to do just minimal, just to stay under that poverty line, what are you teaching your kids? It's going to make you lazy, because you're not going to get up every morning and go to work, because all that you work is 4 hours and you come back home. So you are so comfortable, and the kids are learning. So that's where the generational poverty kick in, because they've not seen a hard-working parent, somebody who, because we keep hearing people talking about, you don't know how my mother had 3 jobs. And the kids have made it because of what the example their parents set for them. Because they know that when they were growing up, they have a mother that goes up and down and work hard, have 3 jobs, work hard just to be out of that poverty line. And at the same time, teaching the kids that hard work pays. But if you are such a person that you don't want to do more, you are teaching the kids that it's okay not to do more. And they are going to remain under the poverty line. And sometimes when you are on this welfare that we are talking about, there are certain neighborhood that you stay at. And we've realized that such neighborhood is likely that the school system wouldn't be the best. So your kids are going to such a school and you live in such a neighborhood and you are comfortable because you want to remain under the poverty line.
So that you can get the
welfare assistance. Meanwhile, you have abilities, you have strength, you have things that you can do to move out of that neighborhood, but you're so comfortable. And because of that, your kids are going to remain in that neighborhood and they are going to share in that poverty. So there are certain things that you can do differently so that you move out of the poverty line. Somebody told me that this welfare system has been set just to keep some group of people under in poverty, just to keep them in poverty.
Wow.
So it was designed for lazy people to stay under, and they will remain poor, and their generation and next generation and the next generation will remain there. So we have to break off. Sometimes people look at you, if you live in some area, some culture, or some area like neighborhood, and you are paying extra, they think that you are stupid. Because why is it that you don't get the assistance? Why do you want to do that
Spend more
extra?
money.
Spend more money on your medication. Meanwhile, you're going to get it for free. They want to remain under the poverty line, which can
Wow,
affect the
wow,
next
wow.
generation.
I'm telling you, we are hitting buttons. I'm telling you here. Now, I know what she's saying may hit some rough edges. So, we are not saying that welfare in its entirety is wrong. No, please, that's not what we're saying. Please don't take us wrong. What we are saying is that welfare is good as a cushion, but do not depend entirely on welfare. You use welfare when you need it, but try and come out of it. Try and just get out as soon as possible. The economy was tanking. In the pandemic,
Mhm.
we're losing jobs here and there. And if you lost your job, you need assistance. That's where the welfare comes in. You need a cushion. But as soon as the things turn around, apply for a job. Don't stay home and say that, as long as I'm not working, I'm getting this amount of money from the government, so I'm cool. No, you are not cool. You are extending poverty to your children. You are
Mm.
showing them, like Gifty said, you're showing them how to remain poor and under the poverty line. And that is where we are saying that if you do that, you are cycling generational poverty. You're going to pass it on to your children. And God forbid somebody pass it on to you, but you don't want to pass it on. So come out of welfare as soon as possible. So I made a statement that welfare should be a cushion,
Mm.
not your bed.
Your regular bed.
It's not your regular bed. So your regular bed, you go home and every day you sleep on it. But welfare is not like that. Welfare is a cushion. Just cushion you when you are about to fall and hit your head. You fall on that cushion and it bounces you back up. That is what welfare is. So if you're on welfare, please don't take us wrong. Take it. In fact, if I need it, I will take it. But I wouldn't let it be everything that I have, like that's all I'm going to keep doing. No. And I'm not going to restrict myself from work. I'm not going to cut down my work abilities, my work hours, just because I want to receive the constant supply from government or from the town. That is where we are coming in at. So don't depend on it forever. As soon as you get on it, make plans to get off and let it go to those who cannot afford in dire times.
Yeah, speaking of you, when you need it, you will get it.
Mhm.
I remember when both of us were in school, and we had two kids at that time. We didn't have insurance to cover everybody. So our kids had a little help
With
from the
insurance.
welfare with insurance.
Yeah.
So that was that time. So we strive to get out of it. So don't let it be your regular bed. Try and get out of it when the need be.
Yes, 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 yes. All right, so that will make us go to the next slide, which is the attitude towards work and health. So these are the things that cycle generational poverty, makes it go around, merry-go-round. And the fourth one is attitude towards work and health. And the first one is indifference. Some people, because of indifference, they don't care, about a job that they do. If you are employed by somebody and you have an indifferent spirit, I should call it, you are one that doesn't care whether the company succeeds or not. You are most likely going to be a poor person. Trust me. You don't have to do anything. It tells me that you don't care about things that matter to you.
Mm.
And if you are like that, then you are going to be poor. You're going to remain under generational poverty. So indifference is wrong. I don't care. That kind of, anytime you say I don't care, you check it out. You are not really caring about doing well. Because if you care about somebody's work, then most likely you are going to care about yours. You may likely, establish your own business. But if you don't care, then obviously it's going to transfer into poverty, because that attitude of indifference eventually will get you fired.
Mm.
Your boss will find out and they will fire you, and you move from place to place. No real retirement savings because you work here a little, you go there a little, you go there a little, and even before you get qualified for 401k or any retirement account, you are already gone. So there's no no continuity of retirement savings, poverty in the making, indifference because of the I don't care attitude, and laziness.
Laziness, I think I alluded to it earlier. Laziness, you are lazy because you feel like you don't need to work hard. You know, you are lazy, you don't want to get up early. Like making riches is not that easy. Making money is hard. It's hard work.
It's hard work.
It's
I
hard
agree.
work. It's hard work. Like if you are in school and you want to study and you want to achieve excellence, there is no way that you can be lazy and still prosper. If you think of it in health, like keeping check of your health is not, you can't be lazy. Like if you have to get up early morning and exercise, we keep talking about at least four times in a week, and you wake up every morning, you feel lazy. There is no way that you are going to keep up with your health. So if you have that attitude, it's likely that there are certain diseases that is going to stay with you for life, and you are going to pass on that to the next generation. So being lazy doesn't help. You have to be a hard worker.
You have to be a very hard worker. Trust me. Uh, Good life doesn't come on a silver platter, right? Good life means you have made the choice to have a good life. And so laziness will not make you break the curse of generational poverty and disease. If you are lazy and your generational disease is diabetes, trust me, you're going to get diabetes. You're going to pass it on because you can't exercise. You can exercise, excuse me. You can't do the things that healthy people do. You are lazy. You don't want to get up early and walk. You don't want to run. You don't want to take care of yourself because you feel lazy. I would rather just lay in my couch and watch TV. That is an easier way to go.
And watch exercise.
And watch people exercise, people running and chasing stuff. But you yourself will not step out. Then obviously the generational diseases are going to come. The generational health challenges, blood pressure issues, high cholesterol issues, and diabetes, they are going to come because laziness is not giving you the chance. So break that cycle of generational disease and poverty. You have to actually come out of laziness. But we'll talk about how to stop it later. And the other one is excuses, making excuses. And I think I was watching Myron Baker, Myron something, I don't remember the preacher's name. He's saying that people have reasons why they did not do anything or why they don't do certain things. But to them, they are reasons. But to everybody else, it's an excuse. So if you really want to do something, you got to find a way of doing it. If you don't do it because of a reason, it means you're making an excuse for it, which is very powerful. If you can't do something, that's different. But if you make an excuse, then that will continue to put you in abject poverty, generational poverty, and also in perpetual ill health.
So what are some of the excuses that we normally give? I'm from a broken home. I was not given enough education.
My father didn't take care of me. It's only my mom, right?
Yeah. So the excuses are out there. So
yeah, I like those reasons. Let's give some. So I'm from a broken home. I didn't have any education. You know what? I didn't even go to high school. Okay. For your information, a lot of good rich people do not go to high school. I didn't go to college. I didn't go to the university. Well, in fact, people who are even making billions, some of them are college dropouts. Microsoft found out he dropped out of college to pursue his business. Dropout. So that is no excuse. That's no reason. It is an excuse you are making to live in your perpetual poverty. And the thing I like about this place is that it doesn't matter how old you are, you can always go back to school. So if that was a reason for whatever, you can always go back to improve yourself. Right? So don't make that excuse and live in abject poverty and pass it on. That was if you're gonna just admit you want to be poor all your life, please do. But don't let your children also be poor. That is not good. Don't send poverty down the line. Break the hold. And the sad thing is, if you don't break it, that's all the kids are going to learn because they watch mommy and daddy and they're going to formulate the same ideas you have. All right. So another reason is what?
Drive.
You don't have any drive. Yeah, the attitude towards work. I was actually talking about most of the excuses.
The excuses.
My race, I'm black, The discrimination. Yeah, there's discrimination.
I have an accent.
All those are excuses, but people are still making it. That's the thing. I mean, and some of the reasons are legitimate. I mean, there's discrimination. We all know. We've lived here. We all know. Politicians are chopping the national money. Yeah, it's true. For wherever you're watching from, they are not spending the money on the roads. They're not building the schools. Yeah, it is. But you still have to make it your objective to liberate yourself from that situation where poverty keeps you down. Because otherwise, then it's a cycle. Every year, another 4 years, another government will come. The rules will not be built, and so your life is stuck to who they are and how they live. No, I'm sorry, we can't live by those excuses because people are making it even in those difficult situations.
Okay.
So yes, the drive. People don't have a drive. People don't have the drive to live outside the poverty situation they find themselves in. They were born in poverty. There's no drive. As long as they can get the 3 square meals a day, what is money? I just want to relax. Why should I do extra work? Why should I go to school again? Why should I even, invest? I'm at least my mom and dad have built a house. They left me a house. It is good enough. I built one house. Yeah, no drive. So that will keep you in generational poverty and disease. No drive for exercise. No drive to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
No drive to follow through with the doctors when you are sick. No drive. You don't care. Whatever happens, happens. That's what some people say.
And less expectation. You are not expected to do much at work, So there is less expectation because of your attitude, because of the way that you approach things. People don't expect much from you. And because people don't expect much from you, your attitude to is like, I don't care. Whatever they say, whatever I do, they don't even appreciate it. So I'm not going to do more. So if you put low expectation on yourself, there is no way that you're going to break through. People may not regard much of you, but you have to, put like high expectation. You set things up in such a way that you strive to achieve it. Even if you're not able to achieve it, at least you tried, right? So you have to put yourself in that situation that you're going to do more. You're going to excel in your job. You're going to do more so that people eventually will see what you can do or what you are able to offer or bring to the table.
Great. And the other thing is doing it even if you don't succeed. It is a lesson for your children, and you can boldly tell your children, I tried this business in the field, but if you didn't do anything, what are you going to tell your kids who are going to grow older and ask you, Mom and Dad, what did you actually do? It looks like you are a failure. And then you look them in their face and like, I'm sorry. No. You're not sorry. You didn't do anything. All right. So do something about your situation so that it doesn't matter if people are expecting more or less from you. You got to be your own person that expects yourself to excel. Because if you leave society, in fact, some of us, society has already told you will not make it. In your family, you may be looked down. Somebody will tell you that if you're talking about people, you come. You are not a person.
You come.
They look down on you. You are dumb. Even in school, you don't do well. All your friends, everybody is better. Every little thing, you are crying. In fact, everybody will tell you what is not good. It's low expectations for you. When you go to school, in fact, some of the things about American society, I'll put this in here, that they create, some of the teachers create lower expectation for minority children, because they feel like they're coming from poor homes, and because they're coming from poor homes, they should not be able to do well. And that keeps the cycle of not doing well continuously. Instead of challenging the kids to beat the odds, they tell them, hey, your mom and dad, you're poor, so why should I even challenge you? And low expectations have kept a lot of minority kids lower, but they are smart people out there. I'm telling you, I've been in school here, and I tell you, that's how God made everybody. I mean, every societal group. There are smart people across the board, regardless of race, economic, socioeconomic background, and the rest, or your location. God made everybody. I mean, every group with that intellectual capabilities. But if you allow people's expectation to draw who you are, to present you, then obviously you're not going to do much, because for some of us, as I'm saying, you are expected to do little. I have an uncle who went to an interview, right? and he's an engineer, graduate with a master's degree from the University of Virginia. Very, um, I didn't ask him for permission, so I'll mention his name. But he went for a job interview, and the moment he opened the door and they saw him, they were expecting somebody of a different race. Because this dark man making this engineering, they were not expecting somebody of his race or caliber to come up with such intellectual capabilities. His projects he's presented and everything, they were expecting somebody else from a different race, so they were disappointed. So that is a lower expectation. So if you are going to live by people's expectation, then trust me, you're going to continue to be poor, because people will have lower expectations for you. Lower expectations, especially if you live in a multiracial place and your race is one that is not regarded by others as a group that should do excellent work. Then you have to lift yourself up, set your own expectations, because as a matter of fact, we are all the same. If given the same abilities, if given the same resources, everybody will excel. So I don't look down on yourself. Don't let people set lower expectations for you, because in that case, you are going to live in a perpetual poverty and disease.
How are we with time?
How we 6:08 or 8 minutes over 1 hour. We are wrapping up. So before we do that, we also have another comment here from dear Rose, who has been very helpful with the feedback in terms of whether or not we have sound. So Rose, thank you so much for the feedback. And we also had one that says, I'm enjoying it. And Rose said, powerful message, powerful discussion. All right. So let's see. We are about to wrap up, so don't leave yet. The last one, was it the last or? Okay, so the last one we're going to close with is giving up. Some people have given up on their situation, generational poverty and disease. They say, like, you know what? I'm good. I'm not going to do anything again. I'm done. No matter what you guys say, I'm done. I am done. Done, and done. All right. So, and the reason why people have given up is that, one, lack of opportunity. People lack opportunity. And
maybe you are from a place that opportunity comes once, right?
Once in a while,
opportunity knocks but once. But once. So if you miss that opportunity, you feel like life is over for you. Because, like, let's say that you are in high school, then you get pregnant. In a society, they feel like your life or your course of life is over because you got yourself pregnant. But in another society, it may be like, no, I still have opportunity to go back. So if you feel like you've missed it in life, then you tend to give up. So you've given up because of one mistake that you did. And that's it for you. You've given up. Wow.
So that's lack of opportunity. Opportunity coming back once. And then there's fear of competition. Now we have a scripture that we wanted to add on to it. Let's go through quickly in the interest of time. It says that in John 5:2-9. Now, we usually use these to buttress our points. When you are saying certain things, you want to make sure that you are standing on a rock. You don't just make some arguments for making sake. That's why we want to go to scripture sometimes, just to prove our point. And so even if you're not a believer or a Christian and you're watching, still stick to it, because these are proven things that work. All right. So John 5:2-9 says that now there is in Jerusalem by the sheep gate a pool, which is called in Hebrew Bethesda, having 5 pouches. Verse 3. In these lay a great multitude of sick people, and underline that keyword. Great multitude of sick people, blind, lame, paralyzed, waiting for the moving of the water. For an angel went down at a certain time into the pool and stirred up the water. Then whoever stepped in first after the stirring of the water was made well by whatsoever disease he had or she had. Now, a certain man was there who had an infirmity 38 years. Woo! This man had been sick for 38 years. And verse 6 says that when Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he already had been in that condition a long time, he said to him, "Do you want to be made whole?" The sick man answered him, "Sir, I have no man to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up. But while I am coming, another steps down before me." Jesus said to him, "Rise, take up your bed and walk." And immediately the man was made well, took up his bed and walked. And that day was the Sabbath day. There's a whole other story after that. But that's the whole story. Is that going back to the slide that we saw, it's the lack of opportunity. If we remember the story we just read, it says that once a year, an angel will come down and stir the water. And then after the angel has stirred the water, whoever stepped in the water first, so the opportunity is limited, and then it also has to be done first. You also have to jump in the first. So if you jump in even the second time, you will just be wet. That's what it is. You have to step in the water first. Once a year, you got to step in the water first, and then after the water is stirred and you are in it, then you come out and you are whole. And this man that we read about, this man has been laying there for a whole long time.
38 years.
He has been sick lame for 38 years. 38 years.
So 38 opportunities.
38 opportunities. Oh my goodness. I didn't even think about that, honey. 38 whole opportunities, and nobody threw him in the water.
First.
Or even, first. Maybe he went in once upon a time, but he was second, he was just wet. My goodness. That is deep. 38 years, and he kept going. How many of you have tried anything for 38 years? How many of us have tried anything to get out of poverty or your disease, that sickness that is bothering you? How many have tried 38 years to lose weight? No, I don't think a lot of people have. Or to do exercise consistently, or quit smoking consistently, 38 years trying. No. Or stop boozing, stop alcoholism, because it's touching your liver. How many have done it and tried it every year for 38 consecutive years? And that's what I like about that man. Even though his answer to Jesus wasn't the best, he still stuck there for 38 years. If it was some of you or some of us, we would probably have given up and gone home after all. Life is life. If I can get in the water 38 years, I'm 37 years, let me just go home. You know, this situation is not changing. This poverty in Africa is going to remain no matter what. You know, generations upon generations. Africa has been out of a colonial rule for all these years, some decades, and we don't see anything. Let's give up on them. 38 years, and he kept at it. 38 years, and he kept at it. You know, so even though opportunity is scarce, the thing that we talked about was the competition part, right? And there's a lot of people who are seeking for the limited opportunities that come our way. But yet, if you want to break the cycle of poverty and disease in your family, you don't give up. You have to remain at it because of the limited opportunities and the fierce competition. Now, in competition, the man didn't say that somebody's beating me down. It's just that everybody wants to go in first. So that is the competition. Competition is not to really destroy somebody else, but just to get it first. That's all it was about. And then we also say that the man said, nobody has ever tried to lift me up and put me in the water. We have a lot of excuses in our families like that. I went abroad. I haven't brought anybody to America. And so whoever is my brother or whoever is my sister can say that, hey, since you didn't pick me up, you are my source of my poverty because I've been waiting for you to pick me up.
Pick you up.
Or get me abroad.
Okay.
That is what a lot of people think. And we close our minds to the limited opportunities around us, right? Because you are waiting for somebody to get you out of where you are. helpless. You feel
Helplessness.
helpless, helpless. Nobody's helping me. And my uncle is in the UK. He barely sends any money. You know how hustling that man is hustling. You know how hard he is trying to even take care of his own children there. He doesn't tell you, but you are continuously waiting on an uncle who is struggling to come and get you abroad, and your life has become to a still.
Mm.
You feel helpless.
Mm.
Now, helplessness is a sign of abject poverty. Now, I would not be comfortable in a situation where I would say I'm helpless. There's got to be
Away.
a way out. There's got to be a way out. No matter how long it takes, it may take 38 years, like for that man, but there's got to be a way out. And helplessness is a sign of abject poverty, or a sign of generational problems. So don't feel helpless if you want to break off. We are not doing the solutions yet, but I can't help to say it. And then you want to say something about,
Don't feel like it's too late
don't feel
to
like it's
cause
too
a
late
change
to
in
cause a
your
change.
situation.
Mm,
Don't feel like it's too late. Like I used to say, if there is a will, there is a way. You can make it happen. Don't feel like it's too late for you. You can always start from somewhere and cause a change.
So don't give up, basically, is what we are saying. Do not give up. Well, people who have given up, this is a source of generational poverty. People have given up on their countries. Some presidents come and they are like, we're just going to create loot and share because there's nothing that can change this situation here in this country. There's no way we are going to be able to turn this country around and make things work in 8 years. So they have given up, and they are causing generational poverty and disease to cycle through, generations upon generations. But if you are given the chance to handle a country, a locality, a county, a city mayor, whatever it is, even a school, a captain of a team, whatever it is, whichever area you are told to lead, if you don't give up and you create innovations, do certain things new in a new way in your tenure, in the time that you are there, I'm telling you, you're going to make a difference. Imagine you do it, and the next person after you also do a little bit, and they add up. In a generation, you would have turned the whole system around. And that has happened to countries like the Singapore, Malaysia, and the rest, because they do not just give up. We don't give up.
But some of our people, like we are from Ghana, so that, like, if you really talk to them, they I think most of them have given up. They said there is no way that this country is going to work because the attitude, the way things are done, is rooted deep. So most people have given up
And
on the country,
that is a
and it's so
sorrowful thing.
sad.
That is what we have to train ourselves not to. And those of us who have seen the system, work. I mean, working the way they are working, which is not good. Some of these people must, instead of giving up, must run for office. I tell my brother that run for office because you never know. You never know what change you can. Just remember, if you in 4 years become a president, having seen this, and you say that, you know what, I have my home, I have my wife, I have my family. I'm not going to take a penny from this country. I'm going to make sure that the right things are done. If you are late for government work, you are fired. Vote me out in 4 years. After all, I have my own career. I have my degree. I can work. I can live, by my own income. I don't care what you guys do, but the right thing has to be done. All that is it needs to be done. It's one person to do that, and the rest will follow. But everybody goes up and they are scared and they stop because they are looking out for the next election. They don't want to do the right thing because the next election, if you have a career in anything and you are challenged by the way things are run, please run for office and just rely yourself to go back, to what you used to do. And this also in American politics, I see this. I know we are not a political channel, but let me throw this in there. People see evil going on and they bow to evil and make evil survive and spread because of their seat in Congress. Oh my God. You love your seat more than your country? You do not deserve to be in Congress. You do not. Lose that seat, for heaven's sake. Lose it to protect the generation, to protect the whole nation. After all, you were not begging for food. You used to have a job. Go back to that job. Let your conscience speak to you. It pains me when people get such great opportunities and they squander it
Hmm.
because of elections, because of power. What will power do when you are dead?
Hmm.
You will be gone. But remember those who are left behind, the generations. We are talking about generational poverty, generational disease, generational things that we leave behind. What would people do because of you either being quiet, being indifferent,
Hmm.
or giving up?
Mhm.
Like we are talking about giving up,
Feeling helpless.
feeling helpless, or thinking it's too late. It's been 38 years and we haven't gotten anything done. So giving up. All right. I think in the interest of time, we're going to end here, and we want to see if you have any comments that has come since we started. I think those comments have been already um, shared with you. I think we shared this one earlier, and we said that I'm not sure. Yeah, it's the same person, sister. Enjoying the show. Yes, thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. And also, we have a thumbs up from our sister Rose again. Also, God bless you. And we also had, same person also saying a powerful message. And we are hoping that more people are going to comment and make, give questions and answers and present your own kind of thoughts to what we have said. We are talking out of our hearts. We have no intention of influencing you one or the other in politics or anything. We just want to bring it to you as it is, as we think it is. And it may be sweet, sometimes it may not. That's why it's a live show. So you comment and uh, uh, be kind as you comment. Be kind. Be nice. All right. All right. So we are wrapping up, and we want to say that next week we are coming back again. We are going to continue in the series. We're going to go to episode number 3 on the stopping generational poverty and disease. We're going to hit that again. And we're looking for an MD who has also done well in the area of economics to join us so that he will also share with us what he thinks. We're going to talk about how to break generational curses and all that. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed to our Dayspring Life and Health channel. And if you have, hit the like and share the stream to other people so that other people can enjoy our discussion. And subscribe. As we said, soon we are going to take this off of the multiple platforms and just share on YouTube. So if you haven't subscribed on our YouTube channel, try and subscribe, because in the future we are not going to be showing live shows on Facebook. We're just going to be YouTube only for ease of control and stuff like that. So make sure that you subscribe to our channel, Dayspring Life and Health channel. We have multiple channels, but this channel is the one you are watching now, Dayspring Life and Health channel. Just remember to subscribe and hit the like button. And we want to say thank you so much for sharing your Sunday afternoon with us. And we want to say that we have a closing, right?